We're live.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. We have so many friends with us today. We'll go around and have everyone introduce themselves in a moment, but we'll let people trickle in really quick at the beginning first. But excited you guys are here. We're going to be doing some sprints, 25 minutes with some chatting in between. And all of us, I think, are revising. Natalie, are you revising?
No, who knows? I am still waiting on my physical copy of my book to come in so I can read through it. So I'm probably, I don't know, maybe work on another project. I don't know yet. We're going to find out together.
That's exciting. Welcome, everyone. Happy to see some familiar faces. Hello, hello. Hi, Dami. Thanks for joining. Yay, I'm glad that everyone's excited. I'm excited. I've never done a group stream, so this is exhilarating.
Oh my gosh, Taylor. Hello. Sorry, that was aggressive. But I love your videos so much.
Hi, Taylor. Okay, I'm going to have to check out Taylor now.
Yeah, same. You don't know Taylor?
I bought her book. Yeah, I've been reading her book. It's great.
No, I've never heard of Taylor. Wait, I feel like I'm living under a rock now.
She's like,
you are living under a rock. She's great.
Like half booktube, half authortube.
Oh, okay.
Oh, fun. Love that.
Doing some other people doing revising. Hi, Jasmine. Thanks for joining. Finally, I catch a stream. Alyssa, I love you, but you stream at 4 a.m. my time. Yep, same. West Coast.
It's fine.
She streams at the same time as I'm in her time zone, and it's still hard. So,
coffee.
Haven't written in a few days, so excited for the motivation. Love that. You're going to get back into it today. I think this is the most people I've ever seen in a stream chat, so this is a little crazy. But hello, everybody.
People are showing up.
Yeah, the people are showing up. Let's do a proper introductions now that some people have come in. So you want to go in a circle? Alyssa, do you want to start?
I will. I am revising. I'm on Act 2, Part 2, which if you follow my channel is the menace to society. My personal mortal enemy is Act 2, Part 2. So tonight I'm going to dictate some scenes, I think, and maybe edit through. There's I have to write 7 half scenes that go in the back half of different It's really a great time. So that's what I'm working on. But I'm kind of going crazy right now. I am writing I'm doing an act per week, which is about 10 chapters. That's my current
That is also the place I'm trying to work at, and Andy. So prayers for us.
that October
y'all are crazy.
Yeah, the October crunch is serious. Andy, do you want to introduce yourself to the people?
Sure. Hello, I'm Andy. I'm also revising. I am officially on to Part 2, which is scary and exciting. I have a Part 1 out to beta readers right now to try to get some feedback on plot development and make sure that I'm in a good position to go ahead and make the changes I want to for Part 2. So I'm a little absolutely terrified that there'll be a lot of issues with Part 1, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and start making some of the changes to Part 2 that I know I want to make no matter what. So I'm not too scared to move forward with that. But yeah, also on the same crunch time trying to revise physically as much as I can before November starts. So that's scary, but we're doing it anyway.
Very nice. Very nice. Natalie, you want to give a quick intro? I know you kind of mentioned that you're in between.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, guys. I'm Natalie, and I finished writing my book after 5 years a week and a day ago. So very excited about that, but taking the littlest bit of a break from it because I probably need to. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I have a few other projects just in the random atmosphere, stratosphere, whatever that word is. You know what I mean? So once we start a stream, I'm going to head to my Scrivener and see what happens. I don't know yet.
I love it.
That's so fun. I'm sure we're all jealous as we're in the we're in the slogs.
Listen, I actually love editing, so I'm really excited to start editing, but I think I need a break real quick from that story.
Yeah, that's always
5 years constitutes a break.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I always
and for anyone who's coming from Alyssa, Natalie, or Andy's channel, sorry, Alyssa. And doesn't know me, hello, I'm Brielle, and I'm working on draft 2 as well of revising my fantasy book. And I'm also just about breaking into Act 2. I'm on chapter 12. So that's where I'm at. If everyone wants to drop what you're working on in the chat, I mean, it seems like a lot of people already have, so that is wonderful. You have some plotting, very exciting. Trying to finish for.
You can do it.
I don't know where Brielle is.
Here.
Brielle with us? Hello? Did I just cut out?
No,
Okay.
you're good. You're good.
Yeah,
Brielle, you're
back
back.
to you.
Back to Brielle in the studio. Thank you, Alyssa.
Guys, can we get microphones for next time?
We should
Just like
absolutely.
With the little squares on top, like the Weather Channel.
Wait, that'd be fun. Are we co-hosts now? Finish up this draft of book 2. Congrats,
Yes.
Taylor.
Taylor, you better finish book 2 because I have questions that need to be answered. Thank you. And good night.
Miss Blogger's working on character profiles. Very exciting. I like Alyssa's is revising. Yes, still. Haha, that's me. Yep. Oh, our statuses disappear when we answer comments. That's interesting. Okay, so it looks like everyone has projects. Brielle just ascended for a moment. Did I actually cut out? Interesting.
I think it's like all of our internet has to all be working at the same time for everything to come across smoothly. So, but
that's fair. That's fair. Okay. Well, very exciting. Shall we jump right into our first sprint, everyone?
yes.
We're going to do 25 minutes, and then we will chat and do questions and all of that good stuff. Good luck, everybody. See you in 25. Hello, friends. How is
Jump
everyone's
scare.
sprint? Sorry. How was your guys' sprint? Go ahead. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Mine was so good. I don't know if anyone happened to wait, is Alyssa talking or am I behind? No, okay. I don't know if anyone saw my happened to look at my physicality while I was writing, but I had a couple moments that literally made me go like this. Because something started to I just got to the scenes where I'm getting to write in my other POV, and it's the male love interest, and I'm literally obsessed with the changes they're making in him, and I'm geeking out over here over my own story. So it was excellent.
Love
and
it.
Actually is the motivation and confidence I needed to keep moving forward, because I was so scared once I sent off part 1 to beta readers. So this was what I needed. A little no, you still love this story kind of moment.
Yes. Oh, that's so needed.
Yay.
That is amazing.
I wrote about 1,800 words.
Wow.
Dictation. I'm telling you, it's wild.
I have tried dictation. I can't think fast enough when I'm talking. I can type so much faster than I can think.
I think I'm the opposite. I think I'm just a very fast talker. And it's kind of nice too, because this scene, I didn't really know where it was going until I was about halfway through it, you know? And so talking, I can go as slow as I need to process through what's happening. But then if it's coming, then I can just, talk 87 miles an hour, as is my usual. So it was good though. I think I'm almost done with the scene. Although it created some other issues I need to resolve, but that's fine.
Very nice. And Natalie, what'd you end up working on?
I jumped into Project A, which is my young adult fantasy novel that I started in the challenge that must not be named of April this year. And I wrote about 425 words. So yeah.
Wow, that's solid. Amazing. I also had a sorry, I got distracted by the chat. I also had a very magical sprint, dare I say. Things are really flowing, and I love this part of the book, and it's improving so drastically. So I'm just having the time of my life. I think I reworked 300 something words, which is pretty good for revising Brielle. So very pleased.
And revising is
Yay.
I always think of that quote from The Fault in Our Stars, where it's falling in love is like falling asleep slowly and then all at once. Revising is like that, where it's it sucks until and then it all comes together all of a sudden,
Yes.
Yeah, it's incremental until you make a change you're obsessed with, and then that is a catalyst for other changes you're obsessed with, and then you just fall into a book you love. It's
literally like a one sentence change. I remember in the wedding season, I wrote one sentence, and the whole book was 200 times better. I was like, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
The little things.
It's you need those moments to remember that, oh, I actually do like writing because I don't suck.
Yes.
Yeah. Brielle and I were chatting about the concept the other day of when you write something is correct in a revision, you change something, you're oh, that's the way it was supposed to be. I just didn't know that the first time I drafted this. And I said that I feel when I get to the point where I know that about the book, it won't matter what kind of feedback I get, because I'll know that was the story I was supposed to write. And so anyway, that was a helpful conversation we had the other day, where I was that's what I'm going for with the whole book,
I totally agree. It's something clicks and it's that's right. That is factually correct. That it is what happens in this scene. Yeah. Totally agree. Yeah, it's so nice. And I feel for me, if I can picture it very easily, it's usually a good sign that I've cracked it. Yeah. Amazing. Well, it looks like people had a productive sprint. The chat is quite a lot, so I'm not going to dive into all of that. But if anyone wants to drop questions, now would be the time for that. So feel free to drop any questions for us in the chat. And we will answer a few. This will be fun trying to navigate with 4 people, but we got it.
It's like a work meeting that has 17 people on it, and half of the meeting is just
right.
Oh, but okay, go ahead.
We've been doing better with it than I like imagined so far. I feel like it's been
I
pretty
just am personally working on not talking all the time. I feel like I'm so used to streaming alone and then like also vlogging my life, you know, that I will talk for an hour straight, you know? So I'm like, no, listen
Yeah.
and then talk. Alyssa, a new skill.
I am
Listening.
100% a capper by nature as well. I completely empathize with what you just said.
Ooh, I think we got some questions.
Yeah. Do we wanna?
We could do what number book this one is that we're working
Okay.
on. That's a fun one.
What number, as in what? Like how many books we've written? Is that
That's
the?
what I thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think so.
This is my well. It's a little fuzzy, right? In terms of books that I've completed, this is literally the first one. But in terms of books that I've started, probably like 8 or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
What
Yeah.
about you?
I am on, this is number 4, I believe. Yeah. And then there was like 2 other ones that are probably like 20,000 words written of them, but 4th completed one. Yeah.
Very impressive.
This is one of one for me in terms of completion. But in terms of ideas, if you watched any of my videos, you know I have a million unfinished ones. So yeah, this is like the second book that I've actually attempted to write. First book I've succeeded to finish.
Very exciting.
This will be, I was actually thinking about this today. This one that I just finished was my 5th completed book. So what I was working on now would be my 6th.
Wow.
It's been like a while since I finished a book. All of those were like high school, college age, and I am not that age anymore. So it's been a minute since I finished a book. But yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
Awesome.
Very cool, guys. Also, this comment is so sweet. Andy, this is really random, but in the absolute best way, you remind me of my aunt, LOL. Fantastic energy.
Hope this is not like an evil step aunt or something. You know.
I just commented back. I don't know who your aunt is, but smooches to her. She must be super cool.
That's sweet.
Thank you.
I love it.
Okay. Ooh, this might be fun. Favorite author tubers? Shall we shout out some people real quick?
There's so many.
Taylor Ann Wright.
Yeah, she's in the chat.
I'll go first again. We'll do the same rotation. I feel like that's easiest. My favorite people, besides the people that are here, Lynn, obviously, Lynn Dijong, Kelly Tai, Chris MF, everyone knows those 3. Sarah LeBrot, obviously. I watched Cody. I just started watching Becca, actually. I feel like I'm late to the game there. Yeah, I'm friends with all these people, so it feels a little weird, but
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like ones that you guys might not know, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like have you seen Olivia Grace Cook at all? She hasn't posted very many videos, but every video she posts is a cinematic masterpiece, and I cry. So those are good. I think she did like a master's in creative writing, and so like she was doing a thesis, which I think is really interesting to watch because she gets like feedback from an advisor and then like takes it in. So it's like kind of different writing content. So I've been enjoying watching her recently too.
Yeah. Christiane Jones is one of the like bigger ones that just her videos give me all the right fuzzy feelings. So I love that. And then yeah, on the same note as Brielle, when I need inspiration of how I hope to someday be, Lynn and Chris are great inspo for that too. And then obviously all the people here in this chat are wonderful as well. And then today I just found someone today, Anna Vera. I just started following her. She only has 2 videos up. But she also has very cinematic videos, and I can tell she's going to be a regular like favorite for me. So she's brand new. And then I also watch Cody as well too.
Andy, I have to tell you, I was your 2nd subscriber.
No, you weren't.
Yeah,
My second.
I was looking through AuthorTube. Like, I don't remember how I found it. YouTube was recommending me like all these videos because I was watching so many writing vlogs. I had like
Wow.
watched through, and I was like, oh, this girl. I think you had one video up. Like, I was like number 2. So
That's crazy,
from
'cause
the beginning.
number 1 was my husband, and he like loves that. He's like, "Who is your first subscriber though?" Now I'm gonna be like, "Guess who's number 2? My friend Alyssa." So,
I love
that's
that.
amazing.
It is crazy. The
That's
YouTube
cool.
algorithm is like on it. Like I get recommended writing vlogs from like the newest of new creators,
Yeah.
like with 10 views, and I'm like,
Yeah.
wow.
Locked in.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that. I love someone new I found is Esme, the author. She's like a published author from the UK. She's so fun. I'm literally scrolling through my YouTube subscribing right now. Love Sarah LeBrat. Love Code the Writer.
Oh, and Mick,
Kayla
like
Kempers.
Sorry. Yes,
No, you're
yes.
good. You're good. Kayla Kempers. She's been gone for a bit, but her vlogs are great. You can watch all her old stuff.
Dude, I loved
I'm, like,
Kayla's
panicking.
videos. I'm so sad that she's been off the grid.
I know.
I was watching her so consistently, and then she just disappeared.
I know. I'm so
She's still on
curious.
Instagram. I think she's just taking a break. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was.
I mean, can
not to
relate.
just, like, not to like. I mean, I'm not speaking poorly about her or anything, but right before she left, she was talking so ominously about like this big change in her life, and I was like, and now I'm like, what's going on? I'm just so curious. But that
It's all
is
about
so
drama.
shocking.
Build the hype.
Yeah. Love it.
Sorry, go. Were you going to say something? Okay.
No, I was just gonna say I love it.
Okay, amazing. What has surprised you about the editing process of your current project or a notable past experience in revision? I feel like this is interesting.
I feel like it's just the dissonance between planning and like how it actually goes. Like I started revising this book in July, and like I've revised 4 books, so like, or 3 books. So like I felt like I knew how long it was going to take. I was like, okay, this will be 2 months. This is how long each chapter will take. No. It is October. I thought I would be done with this in August, you know? And it's like, even in the last week, I've been writing, like, I've gotten 90% of the progress in this revision done in the last week. And like, but it, like, all that time was required to just like stew, you know, and like do all this nonsense, you know, and like really figure it out. So it's always, what surprises me, it's always different. Every revision takes a different amount of time and a different level of like time. I don't know. Yeah.
For me, what surprised me is how delusionally confident I was going into this whole thing. And I think anyone in the process of a first book probably is like, oh yeah, me too. I felt like I did a lot of research and had realistic expectations before finishing the first draft of what this whole process would look like. But I think I tend to be an optimistic person, so I felt very optimistic about the quality of my first draft. And even rereading and annotating my printed draft, I felt pretty like, oh yeah, there's some substantial changes I could make, but also this is not bad. And then I kind of had this come to Jesus moment where I called my sister-in-law and was like, listen, there's like 3 really substantial plot points that I need to change that keep coming up in my subconscious that are nagging me. And I'm like, but if I choose to change them, it's going to completely reform how long revision will take me. But I think it will ultimately create a much better story experience for myself and for the reader. And I think I'll be much more satisfied with it at the end. So anyway, that wasn't, it surprised me how much I'm willing to change the story from what I thought I really was attached to in the beginning. So anyway, that's been surprising. And then the delusional confidence of the timeline I had in line of like, me, I'll be a speed reviser. No, I won't. No, I really won't.
Yeah, I relate. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go. You go. It's the Zoom meeting again.
I was just gonna say I relate a lot to both sentiments that you guys shared. Andy and I have chatted about how like we feel like the further we get in, the higher our standards get, and we like our standards are outpacing the rate of improvement. So similarly, I felt pretty good about my rough draft. And then a couple days ago, I went into Vellum to do something and I caught a glimpse of draft one and it was like a jump scare. I was like horrified. So it's just crazy to see like just how much higher I feel like my standards have become and how much things are improving. But obviously also similarly, my timeline has stretched out a lot longer than I anticipated, but I feel like it will snowball hopefully as I get a little further down into things. So
Did you say you were on chapter 12? Because after I hit chapter 13, I did like 15 chapters in 2 days. So
that's what I need
for you.
Yeah, I'm really hoping my delusional confidence about the quality of draft 2 is not as delusional as the quality of draft 1 was. That's the real hope that's going on here.
The delusion is why I'm loving the videos on AuthorTube right now where people are reading their old writing. Because like I haven't seen some of these books that I've written since like high school, and they're like in my parents' like storage unit, and I keep trying to get them to give it to me because I want to do that. And like, because in my brain, those stories are really good. So like, I need to know like if I was actually delusional or if I'm like needing to put the submission now.
Yeah.
Right.
When I did that video, it was so like healing, I think, for me to be like, there's a reason that this dream is still living in me, and it's because of the little bit of magic that's in this old writing. So even if you read it and you're like, this is so not shareable with the world, it's like just a sweet little archive of why you love what you're doing. And for that, it's like just all the magic it needs to be.
Yeah, and it reminded me of my this is gonna sound weird. It reminded me of my free will of like I was reading that delusion. I was like, she really just put in like all these wild things. Like I can just write whatever, and that's like fun, you know. Obviously now I'm thinking more about like reader expectations and genre and word count. But like Alyssa was writing that dystopian book and had an illegal swing dancing club, and people were shaving their heads. Like that's why I want to write. It's just the delusion. Anyway.
Can I just say, I thought both of your old writing was very, very impressive. Like I was sitting there like,
same.
This is good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind. Thank you. 16-year-old Andy would not need to hear that. Her ego was big enough. So.
Oh yeah, I thought I was when I had finished high school and I was not a New York Times bestseller, I was appalled. I was like, how have I was gonna be that girl
how have I failed
who, like,
myself?
Had a teenage book deal and like was on Good Morning America. So I also did not need that.
Yeah. I listened to this podcast that was talking the other day about how like they think delusional confidence is actually necessary to achieve anything crazy in life.
Oh yes.
Because
yes.
If you're gonna be an Olympian or make it as an artist, like at some point you had to have this delusional thought of looking at someone else and being like, that could be me. And if you never have that thought, you'll never make it. Because if you never think you're capable of it, good luck, So it's like dead in the water. And I was like, that's what I needed to hear.
Absolutely. I think we'll do one more and then we'll jump back in, unless something really good comes in. How do you relax when writing? I feel like the ideas don't flow when I'm not relaxed. This is such an interesting one.
Yeah.
This is a good question. I think for me, brown noise, this is a really practical solution to more of like an ideological question. But brown noise, I play brown noise on YouTube, and then I play instrumental tracks of popular songs that I like. So there's a group called the Vitamin String Quartet, and they do like vitamin instrumental covers of popular music. And when I'm like feeling like super out of it, I like turn both of those on and I light a candle, and I also walk on my walking pad. I know that not everybody has that, but I've been doing that recently at my standing desk, and it is like a next level flow state, because I think it's like when your body is focused on something else, then your mind can like, because if you haven't noticed, I'm always this shade over here. I am going up, I'm going down all the time. Like I just my body needs to be doing something. And so like a walking pad, like one of those foot steppers, I don't know. That's really been working for me recently. So
for me, environmentally, I do like a cleaner space, but that doesn't super impact it. Like, that's a great way to start, I think. But internally, I don't know if you meant this internally question wise, but if I feel tense about my writing, I'll return to something I feel confident in my writing. So maybe that's a scene, maybe it's a certain point of view that I know I feel confident in. So like when I was drafting, sometimes I felt, once I got to my male POV, I actually felt more confident drafting in his voice, which is third person past tense, than my main character, which is first person present, which is its own, I don't know why I chose to do that. It's just the way the characters came out. Don't even get me started. But I would return to his POV and write a chapter in his narrative if it was getting too stressful to do the first person thing. So like environmentally, do what you need to do to make your space good to work in. But as a writer and creative thinking wise, return to what makes you feel relaxed, confident, and immersed in the story, and then snowball from there into the stuff that's harder.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever been chill a day in my life, so I'm not sure how helpful this will be. But I typically just change, like if I can't get into the flow of things, I just change my environment. So I get up and I move, I go to the couch, I go to my desk, I go to the guest room, like I'll go somewhere else, or I will head to YouTube and see if there's a live stream going on, or I'll call a friend and say, hey, I really need to write and I can't do it. Will you stay on the phone with me while I write? I think like it's that peer pressure thing of, I don't know, it's relaxing to have other people around, because then you know, like, I'm an introvert. I don't love having people around, but like it's part of, I don't even know what I'm describing. Do you guys know what I mean? Like it's part of like feeling like we're doing something as a community makes me feel like I can accomplish it, and that makes me more relaxed, I guess.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. I like that. I feel like we're getting like a variety of different angles to approach this from, which I like. Mine is also more internal, sort of similar to Andy's. I've talked about this a bit before, but I think anything you can do to take the pressure off of it, which for me, one of my favorite things to do is to like gaslight myself into thinking writing is easy. That is a go-to, because it's usually when I start thinking that revising is such a struggle that I really struggle to make progress. And honestly, trying to forget that other people are going to read it is huge as well. I feel like 9 out of 10 times when I'm writing, I'm aware of how is another person going to perceive this line. Are they going to think this is cliche? Are they going to think that this is blah, blah, blah? Instead of, do I like this? Would I enjoy this in the book? So trying to bring it back to a personal thing, I find to take some pressure off of it and help you relax a little bit. So, yeah.
I hope you're feeling relaxed now.
Yeah, I hope that helps. All right, shall we get into sprint number 2?
Sure.
Yeah,
Let's do
good.
it.
All right, good luck, everyone.
Just had a heart attack.
Sorry. How was everyone's sprint?
It's good.
Good.
Any report?
Not as magical as my last one. This chapter, it's the same chapter I was on in the last one, and I was at like 1,400 words for the chapter, and then I had to delete it down to about 500 words. Now I'm back up to like 780, but sad to let words go always. So
That's fair.
I am still in shock from the timer. I don't know. I was listening to the soundtrack from Broadchurch, which if you write mystery thriller, you should listen to the soundtrack because it's like a lot of like 7-minute songs that are like slow and stressful and building, and it's really good to write to. And then the timer came and I said, I am being murdered. Anyway, the writing was good. I finished up a scene. I think I dictated like 600 words or something, and then went back to, I've written like 3 scenes today dictating. So then I started editing through them. Yeah, it's good.
Nice. Natalie?
Yeah, I wrote 409 words, still in Project A in the fantasy. Yeah, it's going a lot smoother than I thought it was going to. So happy about that.
Yeah.
What a win.
I know.
I finally finished chapter 12, which is
Yes.
a win.
hey, Brielle.
Heck yeah. And I ended up rewriting a lot more than I was thinking, even though like in my annotations, I didn't find that many things I disliked. I just wanted to give it a fresh pass, which actually is interesting because Andy and I have talked about the fact that we annotated our drafts, but our revisions have actually departed from those annotations quite a bit, which is interesting. Like, I just feel like there's so much more that I see now that I want to update. But yeah, so I pretty much rewrote quite a bit of it and added in a ton more world building context, which is nice. And now I'm almost at 84K words, which is exciting.
Nice.
Dude, great.
What's everyone's overall, like, Alyssa, what do you typically average for word count in your books?
That's a
And
good
then
question.
like maybe Natalie and Brielle, what are your goal word counts for what you're working on right now?
Ooh.
I am anywhere between 75 and 90K typically. Right now the draft is at 79,488. But as long as it's within, if it's not under 70 and not over 90, I'm sitting pretty, you know.
Yeah.
Mine varies greatly depending on the genre, because I refuse to stick to one genre, which is a problem that we'll talk about at another time. But I think for fantasy, I probably in the 75 to 80,000 word mark is kind of what I'm going for. I like my fantasies shorter.
Interesting. Very interesting. I am aiming for, like, when it's done, like 100K would be very nice. I like a thick book. But for this draft, I would love to pass 90 if I can. So we'll see.
Nice.
Yeah. That's a great question, Andy. Putting us to work. I love it. I feel like we could do like a couple more questions. How's everyone feeling? Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
You guys want to drop a few more questions? We'll do that. Yeah.
I feel like I have descended into darkness because the sun sets so early here. So I'm like, I started in the light and now I live in the shadows, you know?
No,
It's kind of
same.
fun.
I hate when it's like December and I literally get out of work at 4:30 and it's already dark because I just feel like I have to go home, make dinner, and go to bed.
Yeah.
Right.
The worst.
That does not happen in Albuquerque.
I used to go on a run at like 7:45, and it's right now at 7:30 for context, and it is pitch black.
Yeah,
So,
you're
Not running in the dark alone as a woman, so can't do that anymore.
slay.
Felt.
Pepper spray.
Ooh. Leah Grace had a fun question about how we would pitch our current projects.
Oh, yes. How
Oh,
would you
God.
pitch your current project in terms of existing? I'm not gonna lie, I saw this question and I said I have no good answer, therefore. But if you
No.
guys have something, go for it.
I'm gonna make you answer that, Brielle. Anyway, if anyone's seen the TV show Castle, that is one of my comps. And the other one is, wildly enough, The Love Hypothesis by Ellie Hazelwood. I don't know.
Yes.
I mean,
Oh
I
my gosh, I
love
hope it
that.
has that humor element. I'm obsessed with the humor in that book.
So good.
So yeah, I'm interested to see if my critique partners agree that it actually has any sort of like comedic. I mean, I think I'm funny, and I think the way I write is similar to the way I like talk, but there's like a lot of like very serious trauma happening. So it's a weird mix, but that's ever the struggle. Those are my two, I think. I love the Castle love. Nobody ever really knows about Castle, but
I've seen
It's an
every
older
episode
show.
of Castle ever.
so good. Oh my gosh, the people.
Wow.
Okay,
It's
Castle.
more so, okay, so if you guys know Castle, it's more so that my female main character just like is Detective Beckett from Castle. So that's more so the vibes, you know?
I love it.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Andy, you have to answer because you picked the question.
Yeah, let's hear
I
it.
was listening to Alyssa, like, what are you gonna say? What are you gonna say? I don't know. It's hard. I could like give you vibes more than I could comps, I guess. I feel like there's elements of it that are just like classic fantasy that you could probably pick up anywhere in the mainstream media right now, like Aquatar or Fourth Wing or whatever, but then like not in terms of the story, more so in terms of like vibes of the world. But I guess I should reference what I'm mostly inspired by in terms of world building, and that would be like Narnia and Lord of the Rings in terms of just epic good versus evil concepts. So it's wartime in the setting of this book, and that's I'm trying in the second draft to make that much more palpable than it was in the first draft. So if you think any dark fantasy world in war, that's where we're at. But in terms of like enemies to lovers trope, the first draft was very much like Peeta and Katniss, where they don't actually start like absolutely hate each other, because I obviously love Peeta and Katniss, like mwah, love. But I will say the second draft is much more stark enemies in the beginning. It's losing that a little bit, but I think it's morphing into what it was always meant to be. So I know I didn't comp it to any like really relatable titles in that.
Andy.
She go. You go on.
Okay, she's back. Hold on. You disappeared. Continue.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, hey.
Sorry about that. Anyway, that's kind of the vibes. And then there's also a lot of like family aspects and tensions going on in that. So anyway, instead of giving you comps, I just explained the book.
Real.
I'm never
I
picking
love
a
it.
question ever again.
Okay. Having read a tiny bit of Andy's, I want to give my perspective.
Oh, please do.
I would say I haven't actually read Lord of the Rings, so this is purely going off of perceptions of Lord of the Rings. But to me, it's almost reading as like Lord of the Rings meets Powerless, but make it sexy. Like that is
I'm
the
putting
vibe.
that on the book. I'm putting it
Yeah.
on the book.
Okay, sexy. My blurb for the back of this book,
I
you
love it.
never asked, but I will be blurbing, is Lord of the Rings, but sexy. So that's
Lord of the
what-
Rings, but sexy is everything I could have ever hoped for to write in a fantasy book, and I will be tattooing that on my body. Who am I? I'm Lord of the Rings, but sexy.
Okay, I'm glad that that's hitting the spot.
Oh, that's fun.
And then I will answer this very tentatively because, well, I don't really know. But I have heard from other people that it is very the Red Queen-esque, which I've not read, so I cannot vouch for this. But that is what people have told me that it reminds them of. So that's one comp title. I don't have an X blank though. Like I don't have a second one to combine that with. I feel like my beta readers will have to come through with this one.
Yeah.
I feel like fantasy is harder to comp as well because like so many fantasies, like you can comp to the same things, but they're not the same, you know, because you might be comping to the enemies to lovers of a book, or you might be comping to the world building, or you might be comping to the romance. Like, you know, like there's just, it's a little bit trickier, I think.
Especially because fantasy worlds are never one dimensional. Like they have to be so many dimensions to be good. So it's like, yeah, what you just said, you can never just pull one, or you can pull one thing there's so many other elements that it could be completely irrelevant though.
Yeah.
I understand why it's important to have like comp titles, but it's so frustrating that you have to have comp titles.
Yeah.
Because like, what? How are you supposed to explain your book by using other books and movies and things? There's so much.
Something I've heard people do is they'll do like, take the blank of this book and the blank of this book, where they're getting more specific about the comp titles, like the atmosphere of this book and the voice of this book, so that it's not just like mashing things together. So yeah, I feel like that might make it easier, but I truly feel like I need other people to tell me, because you're just too close to your own story to view it as similar. Just something else. I just spilled my matcha.
No.
No. Save the computer.
Oh gosh, crisis.
While that crisis is being dealt with, I'll tell you all the comps for my book I'm querying, because I did something similar where I did my comps are The Housemaid by Frida McFadden and The Guest List by Lucy Foley, but it's not really a murder mystery like The Guest List, so I say in my query that it's like a character-driven thriller like The Housemaid, but it has the wedding atmosphere of The Guest List. So there's another example for you. Also,
good.
I'm loving Natalie B in the comments. I can't bring your comment up, but I also have devolved into the Orc Daddy books on Kindle Unlimited, and listen.
Please elaborate on what the heck that is.
Okay.
I was about to say, I was like, I don't know if I want to know more, but I want to know more.
Listen. Okay, so there's this whole genre. I think I could tell you the whole plot of an orc book on Kindle Unlimited, like, in a sense.
Is it literally spin-off of like orcs from...
Yes, but they're like sexy green orcs. I mean, they're all green, I think, but they like
is this
the
like
covers,
the Shrek book?
Sort of, but there's like a ton of them. Like some of these authors write like
isn't there like a coffee shop one where they're like working in a coffee shop?
See, that's a lot more wholesome. These are the sexy orcs, and they're usually looking for a bride at a market or something, and usually there's like an innocent female who is like, I just am getting water from the forest, and then the orc daddy comes in and is like, we need you. And then there's like all this orc lore about like there's all these different like things that are like known in the orc lore of like they have these certain like tribunals where they need a human, but then like they need the human as a servant, but they sort of fall in love, and then
wow. Okay, well, as someone who grew up watching Lord of the Rings, I am having nightmares about orcs and being trapped in a funhouse with them chasing me. I don't think I'll ever be engaging with that genre, but I love it for the people who love it. I'll never yuck someone's yum, but that is not for me.
No, listen, it's one of those things you like ironically read, like and they'll have these like catchy opening lines where it's like, there's so many orc blank. I'm gonna let you fill in what that word is.
Is the most catchy opening line I've ever
heard. Lord.
And I'm just like, buckle up.
Wait.
I'm really glad my mother could be watching this stream right now. Hi, Dana.
Shout out, Dana. What's up?
Anyway, yeah.
You know what that reminds me of? Books that you ironically read. What is the Peter Pan inspired series on Kindle Unlimited? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Someone in the comments has to know what I'm talking about.
Has anybody read the Door erotica called Unhinged?
I've not read it.
No.
Listen, I haven't either, but I was.
Isn't it like the door becomes a person?
Sort of. The door just like, I think it's more like the door is the love interest, if you know what I mean, which you don't.
There's another one that's called like Fork, and it's the same concept.
Mm-hmm. Kissing the coronavirus.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, the options are endless. Anyway,
hey Taylor, in the comments, tell us, didn't you read like the Shrek like fan fiction thing? Was it good or was it painful? Like, I need to know, like, why do people like it?
Why do people
so
like it?
Okay, but the Never King, is that like sexy Peter Pan?
Oh yes, and I saw it in a Barnes. And this book, and listen, I'm gonna self-publish, so I feel comfortable saying this. It is giving self-published in like the worst way, like the quality checks were not there.
And
You
it's in
look
a
at
Barnes.
it and you're like, and it was in a Barnes. And I like opened it and I was like the plot makes no sense. It is just crazy.
My husband is watching this live stream on our TV downstairs, and he just looked at me and said, "What the crap is happening?" Literally dead.
Listen, it's a dark hole. There's also like all these mafia books. We don't even need to get into it, but I could write a mafia book from scratch with no plan right now. If anybody was,
I mean,
if I start a Patreon, that's what it's gonna be.
You could probably really put that into your genre easily.
Wow. Well, everybody.
I've derailed us. I'm sorry.
What an incredible way to close this out. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you, Alyssa, Andy, and Natalie for co-hosting with me. This was so fun. I hope you all got some great work done and got some good laughs in as well. Yeah, and hopefully we can do another group stream because this was like very good vibes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thanks for having us.
Yes.
Pulling this together last minute. Love to see it.
Oh yeah.
Last minute.
Thank you, Brielle. You're
course.
awesome. You're all awesome, I should say. But
You're all awesome.
No, you're all. Oh wow. Okay, everyone.
Okay. I'm glad
Pull
everyone
it
had
together.
fun. Yeah, and we'll see. What a stream. Truly. My takeaway is that Alyssa reads unhinged romances too. Love that. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
bye.
Go read workbooks.